Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaskute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishnusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Anchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyaeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Om Shri Radha Krishna Sindhi Bhagavati Pura Shri Radha Swami Sumakara Subhani Om Shri Radha Krishna Sindhi Shri Radha Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurava Charine Nirvishesha Shri Mukham Kavati Vachani Yakti Patanaham Shri Hare Krishna. So we are reading. What happened?
I am feeling very cold with the fan.
Oh, you catch the wind.
I shield.
You actually don't know what's the climate. Alright, so we are reading Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action and Krishna Consciousness. Chapter 5. So last week we discussed about so this section here again is about work, right?
Yes.
How to work. So the consciousness of someone who's engaged in devotional services is awake or she's awake within the body, then the bodily functions goes on as usual, right? But the person who's living in the body, what's his situation? Text 10 summarizes. One who performs his duty without attachment.
You have seen the flower, but you all don't know how the pond will be. One time I have seen real also, like very long ago.
Okay. Go and find, please on internet, and find them. See, Krishna has given analogies. The we should be able to find Ganga's remains even imagination we don't have it. Okay, you haven't seen. So how will you learn? Right? You cannot just sit. You cannot just sit and read books. Right?
Yes.
Real life should have experience of real life. Krishna is describing a lotus flower, and I haven't seen a lotus flower, only seen when it comes on the altar, right? I haven't seen when it's growing, right? Right? Just even fear the imagination, right? Isn't it? We can just remember that in a Gurukul, only this much was coming from reading books. The rest was live life. Right? Today they call this experiential learning. And even the experiential learning, you have to imagine and write and listen. It's still in theory. It's not real life. So it will convey, that vision will convey an image. We should bring a songbook actually. The songbook, Vaishnav songbook, yeah. Bhajahure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charana Arabinde Jivana Talamana Kamala Jala, right? Life is like water on a lotus flower. It is so risky. You haven't seen a lotus flower, right? And your life is fluttering like a drop of water on a lotus flower any time. Yeah. Fall off and broken. Therefore, Bhajahu Hari Nidhi. Right? Worship the Lord because you don't know when your life will just end. So text 11. Kayena manasa buddhya devarendriyapi yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyakvatma shuddhaye. So this also we have done in the text 11. Yukta karma phalam tyakva shanti apnoti nishtikim ayukta kama karena bhalle sakto nibadyate. All right. I have a very enthusiastic 13-year-old girl now. She's 13 years old. Her father just called and said, "Can I see my daughter?" She's 13 years old. She's reading in the path of perfection. So she's so difficult. She's reading, she's coming to the classes, going home, reading it. So I said, "How is it?" What she said?
It was amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, she understood because she attended the class, right? And she read, right? So she's like the star of the class now.
6, 7.
She's 13 or 14?
13.
13. So she's which class?
7.
7th standard.
6 or 7.
7th standard. So what I'm saying that God has both, right? This is a child who is in 7th standard. Parents are devotees. Mother, father, they are devotees. So the father said, "Okay, let me send my daughter because the class is for ladies so she said, "This is a child." And to my great surprise, she's understanding and she asked me questions also.
Nice.
Very good question.
Yukta, one who is engaged in devotional service. Karma phalam, the results of all activities. Tyaktva, giving up. Santim, perfect peace. Apnoti, achieves. Nibadyate, becomes entangled. The steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the result of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. Purport: the difference between a person in Krishna consciousness and a person in bodily consciousness is that the former is attached to Krishna, whereas the latter is attached to the results of his activities. The person who is attached to Krishna and works for him is absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. In Krishna consciousness, there is no duality. All that exists is a product of Krishna's energy, and Krishna is all good. Therefore, activities in Krishna consciousness are on the absolute plane. They are transcendental and have no material effect. One is therefore filled with peace in Krishna consciousness. But one who is entangled in profit calculation for sense gratification cannot have that peace. This is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Realization that there is no existence besides Krishna is the platform of peace and fearlessness.
Okay, so now one key, key word here is what?
Karma phalam.
Right? Key word here is duality. What's that duality?
Sukh and dukh.
What is cause of a misery is duality, right? Or lack of peace is due to duality. What duality?
That this spirit and matter, we are different from Krishna.
we think of myself and Krishna. Right? The duality here is myself and Krishna. Meaning that I work everything for myself. And therefore I'm always over and anxiety over profit and loss. What will I gain? What will I lose? Right? Each and every step in life, I'm calculating, so Prabhupada is speaking. One is that one who is entangled in profit calculation for sense gratification cannot have that peace. Duality meaning it's like me, everything is about me, right? And I forget Krishna. The me is about self gratification. So it's all about me, meaning that all my endeavors, all my work, whatever I'm doing is all about me. And my self gratification, and when things, of course, are not going to turn out the way we expect. Right? You make a plan, does it happen that way? We always happen that way. Maybe a little bit, right? But majority doesn't happen. And even if it happens, suddenly you lose everything. Right? You lose everything because maybe somebody became jealous or or maybe you fall sick or you made a mistake. Right? So your life keep on changing, right? No stable situation. So therefore there is no peace. But when we are serving Krishna, when we are working for Krishna, whether there is profit or loss, it's not my profit nor my loss. It is Krishna's profit and loss. Right? Just like you work for some company. Whether the company is making profit or loss, it's not your business. Right? You only hope it doesn't close down and then you're out of work. Right? Isn't it? And otherwise, very casually, people walk in and out of companies thinking at the end of the month they're getting one paycheck, right? This is how they think. So they are unaffected by the profit and loss of the owner. Right? So here, Prabhupada is saying the difference between a person in Krishna consciousness and a person in bodily consciousness. If that the former is attached to Krishna, whereas the latter is attached to what?
Results of
The
this.
results of his activities, the karma. So the person who is attached to Krishna and works for him only is certainly a liberated person. He is free from anxiety. Right? That's why he is liberated. Free from anxiety. But when I'm holding on, of course, devotees are very much attached to making Krishna's mission successful. Alright? Devotees, you can see in this song, right? How all these leaders, everybody is working very hard. What for? What for? To make Krishna's mission successful. He's not thinking anyway, it's not my work. It's Krishna's work. Follow?
Yes.
All these leaders, they are working. They want to make sure that the goal is achieved. For whose pleasure? Krishna. And that anyway is not mine, it's Krishna's business, and I just sit and relax. The person who is attached to Krishna and works for him only is a liberated person. He has no anxiety with the results of his work. In the Bhagavatam, the cause of anxiety over the result of an activity is explained as being one's functioning in the conception of duality. That is, without knowledge of the absolute truth. What this duality is, you are thinking you are separate from the absolute truth. So I'm working for my own interests, and I'm not working for the interest of Krishna. Krishna, the supreme absolute truth, the person of Godhead. In Krishna consciousness, there is no duality. All that exists is a product of Krishna's energy and Krishna's own will. Therefore, activities in Krishna consciousness are on the absolute plane. They are transcendental and have no material effect. One is therefore filled with peace in Krishna consciousness. I will give Prabhupada's example. Alright? Prabhupada, he left India at what age?
70.
70. Okay? And he went to US. He set up a movement in how many years?
7.
How many years?
14 years.
How many years?
11.
11 years. Okay? Prabhupada left this world at what age?
81.
81. So, 11 years. First year when he went, he was just observing. After 1 year, he registered his call, okay? And he traveled the entire world for 10 years. And then he left. Alright? This is called
Service for Krishna.
service for Krishna. He worked day and night, traveled the entire world. He set up 108 temples, thousands of disciples, so much wealth, so many books, and he left.
Yes.
This is called
Vedanta.
working for Krishna. Let me see, I'm 70 years old, I don't know how many of us are 70 years old. We've got grandmother, grandfather was 70, right? Send him to America. Right? Send him to America. Anika worship. Right? Nobody does this, right?
Happening is peaceful.
Yeah, when nothing is happening, he's still continuing. He's peaceful.
Like when he's trying and still things are not fructifying,
Yeah, he's
then
still
also
peaceful. He's still peaceful. He's going on with his regular work.
and when everything is happening,
Then he's saying increase.
okay.
Okay, he's encouraging.
More.
Like the book distribution, right? With the book distribution, he says increase it. Increase it. Even till the last moment. Yes, he was still translating Srimad Bhagavatam. And the devotees were coming and giving him the book scrolls. How many books are going out? Because Prabhupada's mission was distribution of knowledge. Right? His Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, told Srila Prabhupada, if ever you get money, print books. So he instilled that enthusiasm, that motivation in his disciples. That today, 50 years later, after he has left, right? The devotees still going and distributing books. What is that book distribution? It is distribution of knowledge. Right? Removal of ignorance and Kaliva. Right? Text 413.
सर्वकर्माणि मनसा संन्यास्यस्ते सुखं वसि नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वान्न कार्यान्. Sarva, all, karmani, activities, manasa, by the mind, sannyasya, giving up, aste, remains, sukham, in happiness, vashi, one who is controlled, navadware, in the place where there are 9 gates, kurvan, doing anything, na, not, karayan, causing to be done. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of the 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. The embodied soul lives in the city of 9 gates. The activities of the body or the figurative city of the body are conducted automatically by its particular modes of nature. The soul, although subjecting himself to the nature, he identifies with the material body and therefore suffers. By Krishna consciousness, he can revive his real position and thus come out of his embodiment. Therefore, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, one at once becomes completely aloof from the bodily activities. In such a controlled life, in which his deliberations are changed, he lives happily within the city of the 9 gates. The 9 gates are mentioned as follows: Navadware Pure Dehi Hamsho Lelayate Bahi Vashi Sarvasya Lokasya Sthavarasya Charasya Cha. The Supreme
This material body. So this material body is compared to a city with 9 gates. Okay? Neither working nor causing work to be done. When this happens, when the embodied living being controls his nature, what is that nature? My body is functioning according to the three gunas, right? I have gathered with me. Something she is wearing the same color. Can you see? Can you see that? You are, because I'm looking at all of you. You're all wearing the same color. Is it true? Is it true? Yes. But what's the difference? Shades. Different shades of the 3 gunas. And you're living inside. So when the jiva, who has understood that he is different from the body, and this body simply is a shape with 9 holes, right? Meaning there see the description is given here. But as we practice our sadhana, we start dissociating with the body. And we go back and read this. You follow? This is the value of the book. It's practical, and then you go back and you understand better. Owing only to forgetfulness and his superior nature. Is it there? No, it's not. Is their Wi-Fi on? Just go check if their Wi-Fi is on. Breaking.
कितने हैं 5
By Krishna consciousness. So, what is this Krishna consciousness? Meaning our sadhana, our studying of Shastra, our Sangha. He can revive his real position and thus come out of his embodiment. Just understand what is writing here. I, the soul, I'm stuck in the body. So this is embodiment. But through Krishna consciousness, I can come out of my embodiment. Therefore, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, one at once becomes completely aloof from bodily activities. So meaning that, see, what is bodily activities? We are maintaining the body for self-gratification, to enjoy material nature, to acquire. And how do I enjoy? Through wealth, through position, through learnings. This is how I enjoy this world. But when we come in Krishna consciousness, we are not interested in it. Therefore, we are able to step out of it. So, in such a controlled life, in which his deliberations are changed, so meaning now, before it was automatic, sense gratification was automatic. Now he's controlling his senses. Now he's saying, this is not for me, I don't want this. So what happens next? His deliberations. Deliberation meaning, what is this deliberation? What does it mean? His decisions. His thoughts. Intentionally, correct. His deliberation meaning, should I do this or should I do this? When he is in Krishna consciousness, there is no duality, there is no, this one or that one, it is always Krishna. It's always Krishna. In such a controlled life in which his deliberations are changed, he lives happily within the city of 9 gates. So now this 9 gates is described here. 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 1 mouth, and anus, and the genitals. So these are the gates of the body. The living entity in his conditioned stage identifies himself with the body. But when he identifies himself with the Lord, within himself, he becomes just as free as the Lord even while in the body. So within our body there are 2 souls. One is
Super soul.
So one
one is soul
and one is
super
super soul.
The soul is enjoying the material body, the super soul is
Watching, observing.
witness. Alright? Only witness. And he's not involved with the workings of the body. Right? So, when we become self-realized, when we give up self-gratification, we attain the same situation as the Paramatma, who is witnessing but not participating. Alright? Meaning, I have taken a body, the body naturally will go on doing its work, right? It has to eat, it has to sleep, right? It has to protect itself. But the soul is not overly worried about it. Right? Because by nature everything is happening. Due to karma, it will happen automatically. Remember? Which text? Prakrite kriyamanani 27. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankara vibodhatma kartaham iti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. Meaning my bodily activities are going on automatically by the three modes of material nature. When we are self-realized, we know this is going on by itself. Right? And what we are doing, we are gradually bringing the body to a closure. Just like your car, if you are going full speed, how do you stop the car?
With the brake.
Oh, you do put a brake?
You make it
With a brake?
You gradually-
You slam on the brake, what will happen?
slowly
Oh, you have to
slow down the speed.
My dear, you drive a car? Maybe only Mumbai. Mumbai always like this, right?
Yeah.
But if you're on the highway, right? Highway, you're going full speed 120 kilometers, and you know there is a stop ahead. You have to stop reducing your speed, right? And then you come to 30 kilometers, then you can brake off smoothly. Otherwise, you will somersault. Right? So, once we understand who we are, what is the body, we will let the body do its work, slow down gradually, and then when the time comes, without hesitation, we will move out of the body. You have seen people like this, no? You have seen people like this, right?
Like normal people you are saying, Mataji, who age slowly, and then they go.
Well, if they are attached, they hate it. But those who are proper, who are dharmic, who have inherent knowledge of body and soul, no? Elders, you have seen?
Yes.
They peacefully move out. They move out without complaining.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Without complaining. Others who are attached, oh my money, oh my property, right? They can't go. They can't go. They want to control everybody in the house. They can't go. But those who are detached,
Yes.
and they know they have to go, they live. They can find others. Yes. Yes. They move on. They move on. Peacefully. So I'm speaking even of regular people who are not liberated, who are not self-realized, but are sufficiently self-realized. You follow? So maybe these people, they will again take birth, but they will be more detached than when they were previously. In other words, they are slowing down now their mental body. Follow?
Slowing down their mental.
You follow Raji? The slowing down, right? So now let's see. The living entity is conditioned stage identifies himself with the body. But when he identifies himself with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as the Lord, even while in the body. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is free from both the outer and
The
inner
inner
activities of the material body. What is the outer and inner activities? The gross. And what is inner?
Subtle.
Subtle. Right? Next 14. तत्कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि
न कृत्वं न कर्माणि
as in no, right? न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि
न कृत्वं न कर्माणि
लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः
लोकस्य सृजति प्रभु
न कर्मफलसंयोगं
न कर्मफलसंयोगं
स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते
स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते न नेवर कर्तव्यम कर्तृत्वम प्रोप्राइटरशिप न नॉर कर्माणि एक्टिविटीज लोकस्य ऑफ द पीपल सृजति क्रिएट्स प्रभु द मास्टर ऑफ द सिटी ऑफ बॉडी न नॉर कर्म फला विद द रिजल्ट्स ऑफ एक्टिविटीज संयोगम connection swabhavam the modes of material nature to but parvartate act the embodied spirit master of city of his body does not create activities nor does he induce people to act nor does he create the fruits of action all this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Purport. The living entity, as will be explained in the 7th chapter, is one of the energies or natures of the Supreme Lord, but is distinct from matter, which is another nature called inferior of the Lord. Somehow, the superior nature, the living entity, has been in contact with the material nature since time immemorial. The temporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reactions. Living in such a conditional atmosphere, one suffers the results of activities of the body by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. It is ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is the cause of bodily suffering and distress. As soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. As long as he is in the city of the body, he appears to be the master of it, but actually he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its actions and reactions. He is simply in the midst of material ocean, struggling for existence. The waves of the ocean are tossing him, and he has no control over them. His best solution is to get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. That alone will save him from all turmoil.
Okay. So now you have to imagine this. With the embodied spirit, master of the city of his body. Prabhu, right? Is Prabhu. Is the master of the body. We are all of us. We are the masters of our body. Right? So the embodied spirit, master the city of his body, does Karmani Sarvashah. Same verse. Right? 327. Krishna's repeating the same verse. 327. Found it? Right? Read it. Translation. Okay. See. So the living entity, as we will explain in the 7th chapter, is one of the energies of the Supreme Lord. So the living entity belongs to which nature? Superior. And matter belongs to inferior. This is clear? Matter is inferior and spirit soul is superior. Somehow, the superior nature, the living entity, has been in contact with material nature since time immemorial. We are living, this Atma is living in this body since time immemorial. What is happening? Meaning that you leave one body, again you take another body, you leave one body, again you take another body. Right? Since time immemorial is going on. And the problem is that when you accept a body, that body is not eternal. The body is temporary. It's okay if you accept a body. If the body will last, but it doesn't last. Just like you buy clothes, right? It's so irritating if you have children, right? Every 6 months you have to change the clothes, right? Because the child is growing out of his clothes, right? I don't know what people do with their clothes nowadays. People used to be passed on to the next one, right? Mhm. So, somehow the temporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains in the course of varieties of activities and their resultant reaction, meaning that because of this body, in order to satisfy this body, I do so many things. Is it true? I do so many things. Maybe innocently in the beginning, we go to school, we study, then when we have to, when we start growing up, we start competing with the next door girl, right? My own best friend, I start competing in case that girl will get half a mark more than me, right? Or she will get the seat, the scholarship seat or whatever, right? That's what we do. So, actions and reactions. Living in such a conditional atmosphere, he suffered the results of the activities of the body by identifying himself with the body. So if I spend my whole life in competition in school, when I come out of school, what will I do? What will I do? This is my training, right? To compete and make sure everybody becomes better than you. When you come out, what will you do?
Same thing in your college.
Again and again, you will, whoever you will see your colleague, right? You will see that other person is a competitor.
It will become your samskar.
You will see your entire world as competition. Isn't it? You cannot see that because Krishna is not in the center. So everybody is my competitor. So therefore I'm identifying with this body. It is ignorance acquired from time immemorial. We got habituated to it. Because somebody says samskar. Samskar meaning we have collected. We have collected from time immemorial. And we are not believing out our memory. Right? Thin out our memory. We just let it go, let it go, let it go. Hmm? So as long as she's in the city of, as soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. So what is G? He's no longer interested in the activities of the body. Alright? Let's say I want to eat mangoes. Okay? Your brother also like to eat mangoes. And now there are 5 mangoes there. Who will eat the most mango? Alright? Who will eat the most mango? When you have no interest in eating mangoes, your brother can have all the mangoes. Right? Yeah. Then you fight. You understand? Very simple. Very simple. Right? So when we stop competing, stop working for the body, then you remove the reaction, you become free from the reaction of all this work that you are doing. So it doesn't mean that you just become a loser. Right? So that you just become a loser. You know, I just heard one, I don't know how does this pop up here, about what is good in old age and what is bad in old age. So it said that if you are 70 plus, reduce your eating of mangoes. They say it creates too much sugar in you.
Automatically or the thinking of something, buying something, going somewhere, slowly it is reducing.
Yes, because we already have some training that other people know. Other people, their senses remain alive. Their senses are wanting more and more and more. But if we are coming in a culture where we have seen others even, and we ourselves have been controlled throughout life, right? And if you are taking Krishna Prashadam, if you are chanting, then the switches in the body gradually will switch on to. But if you keep on feeding, the mind and the senses, you never be over. Never be over. As long as he's in the city of the body, he appears to be the master of it, but actually he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its actions and reaction. I'll just give you the example of mango. So you think that anyway, I decide whether I want to eat mango or not. So I think that I'm the master. But actually, your body is really, you're not in control of your body, okay? Your body is being controlled by the laws of nature, who's saying reduce the quantity of mangoes. Right? And if you go against it, you'll be in trouble. I appear to be the master of my body, but if I break the laws of my body, I'm punished. So I'm not the master, I'm not the controller, and I'm not the owner. He's simply in the midst of the material ocean struggling for existence. Right? Simply in this material, it's an ocean, right? And nowadays, everybody is in trouble because of the breakdown of family systems. Right? Everybody, the child is alone, right? Child is alone. Husband and wife are also, one is here, one is here, Right? And the old people are alone. And who's enjoying? Who's enjoying? Those who can work for them. Right? He's simply in the midst of the material ocean struggling for existence. The waves of the ocean are tossing him, and he has no control over them. His best solution, so what to do? Tell us, So what people do? We don't study Bhagavad Gita, what do we do? What do you do? You know, it's like suddenly age is coming and catching you and bringing you down on your knees. What do you do? Right? You are very scary these days. Right? Nobody to look after you. Isn't it? So, what is the solution? His best solution is to get out of the water. What the water? The ocean of material existence. By transcendental Krishna consciousness. That alone will save him from all the void. Krishna consciousness, meaning having faith in Krishna, letting Krishna take care of our lives. Right? Alright. Let's read this last verse. Nadate kasyachit papam Nachaiva sukritam vibhu Jnanena vritam jnanam Tena vyakruyanti jantavaha
Na,
No.
never. Adate accepts Kashyachit anyone's papam sin na nor ka also eva certainly sukritam pious activities vibhu the Supreme Lord ajanena by ignorance avartam covered jananam knowledge tena by that muhayanti are bewildered jantavah the living entities. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. Purport. The Sanskrit word Vibhu means the Supreme Lord who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. He is always satisfied in himself, undisturbed by sinful or pious activities. He does not create a particular situation for any living entity, but the living entity, bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reaction begins. A living entity is by superior nature full of knowledge, nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by ignorance due to his limited power. The Lord is omnipotent, but the living entity is not. The Lord is Vibhu or omniscient, but the living entity is Anu or atomic. Because his living soul, he has the capacity of desire by his free will. Such desire is fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord. And so, when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But the Lord is never responsible for the action and reactions
of the particular situation which may be desired. Being in a bewildered condition, therefore, the embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subject to the temporary misery and happiness of life. The Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma or the soulful, and therefore he can understand the desires of the individual soul, as one can smell the flavor of flower by being near it. Desire is a subtle from the conditioning of the living entity. The Lord fulfills his desire as he deserves. Man purposes and God disposes. The individual is not therefore omnipotent in fulfilling his desire. The Lord, however, can fulfill all desires, and the Lord, being neutral of to anyone, does not interfere with the desires of the minute independent living entities. However, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one of the desire in such a way that one can attain to him and be eternally happy. The Vedic Rahmans therefore declare Esa uhe इवा साधु कर्म करियति तम यम इम्भयो लोक भय यूनिसेट ईसा यु इवैस साधु कर्म करियंति यम अधो नैनिस्ते. The Lord engaged the living entity in pious activities so that he may be elevated. The Lord engages him in impious activities so that he may go to hell. Kasutitaki Upanishad 3.8. अन अजनो जंतुर अनिस्तो यम आत्मा सुखा दुखा ईश्वरा प्रयोति गैशट स्वर्गम वासम अब्रहम इवा के. The living entity is completely dependent in his distress and happiness by the evil of the Supreme. He can go to heaven or hell as a cloud is driven by the air. Therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, causes his own bewilderment. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of serve to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nescience. And under the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. The Vedanta Sutra 2.1.34 also confirm this Vaishyama Nirgrhanam सपेक्षत्वे सपेक्षत्वत् तथा ही दर्शयति. The Lord neither hates nor like anyone, though he appears to.
So, and people like to blame God, right? Whatever happens in who is him. Why did you do? Why are you making me suffer? Why did you make him do this? Right? Why this happened? Why that happened? It's your fault. And Krishna is saying,
No.
He is saying, Lord and the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance that covers their real knowledge. So, two words are used here. One is Vibhu and one is Anu. The Supreme Lord is Vibhu, meaning is unlimited in all his opulences. Knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, renunciation. He is satisfied in himself. He doesn't have to go after anybody's wealth. right? Or anybody's position. He's self-satisfied, right? And he doesn't create your situation. Parents know this very well, right? You tell a child, don't do this, the child does it. Or you advise a neighbor or a friend, don't do this, and they do it. Right? Isn't it? So they create their own situation, and when they fall in trouble, the child will run back to the parent, right? And the parent, what will the parent do? Not always. Hmm? Not always. We just welcome the child back, right? And doesn't even speak about it. And he or she will go through so much trouble, right, to fix up all the mess the child has done. Right? This is what parents do, right? He doesn't create a particular situation for any living entity, but the living entity, bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and therefore his chain of action and reaction begins. Right? A living entity is by superior nature full of knowledge. So now, because we are in superior nature, we are full of knowledge, but because we are small, by association, we fall into ignorance. So all of us who are here, we are reading Bhagavad Gita. Have to be careful. Right? We are small. We can get extinguished. We fall in the wrong association. We forget everything we read. Because by nature we are Anu. Forget. We have forgotten Krishna. Already forgotten. It's just a matter of seconds when we again forget him. Right? So it's hard work.
Very, very hard work. Very hard work.
Yeah, it's hard work to remember Krishna. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by ignorance due to his limited power. The Lord is omnipotent, but the living entity is not. The Lord is Vibhu, omniscient, but the living being is atomic, tiny. Because he's a living soul, he has a capacity to desire by his free will. So icha, right? Your own wish. Right? Such desires fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord. So we say, no. Then finally, see, because the entire creation belongs to the Supreme Lord. Right? And you can do something only when the Supreme Lord will open it, permit it, right? You want. So, okay, jump off the cliff. Right? So, yeah. And so when the living entity is bewildered in his desire, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But the Lord is never responsible for the
Actions and reactions of the particular situation.
which may be desired. Being in a bewildered condition, therefore, the embodied soul identifies himself with a circumstantial material body and becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of life. So anyway, here we are in this big trouble, and we have to bear the consequences of it. Now, the Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma, and therefore can understand. How does he understand what you want? Example is given. Say just like you get the fragrance of a rose, right? The flower. Meaning the soul and super soul are so close to each other. What you are desiring, the super soul come to you. Just like the smelling, the smell of a flower. You understand the analogy?
Yes.
If you just walk through a garden, say this is Kirani, right? sense of our desire. Desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. So therefore we have to check our desires. This desires is what is binding us. Right? The action is secondary. It starts with a desire. Right? Then you start to enact the desire. You want to fulfill that desire. Right? And then final action will happen. The Lord, however, can fulfill all desires, and the Lord, being neutral to everyone, does not interfere with the desire of minute, independent living entities. However, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care of him and encourages one to desire in such a way that one can attain to him and eternity. See, when we want to be separated from Krishna, Krishna says, okay, so you want to live separate, you want to do your own thing. But when he said no, we want to be with Krishna, then Krishna makes all the arrangements. One after the other, he makes all the arrangements. What is favorable for you. Alright? So the Vedic hymns therefore says, the Lord engages the living entities in pious activities so that he is elevated, and then he does impious activity goes to hell. Who's making him go up and down? Not the Supreme Lord. It is your own
Karma.
See, this Bhagavad Gita is the ABC. Remember this. It's ABC. Principles are being taught. So now, what principle have you learned here? Desire. What's about desire? Yes, they go.
Should be limited,
Desire
should be
is the
slow.
cause of all my actions and the cause of my reactions.
Even in the sixth vices, the first is calm.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, your desires. Alright? So from this desire, everything else is coming. Alright? Therefore, the conditioned soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness. How many of you have distributed books? We just did a full month of distributing books. Right? How many people say no? Many, right? Since time immemorial, they desire to avoid Krishna consciousness. Right? Therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, causes his own bewilderment because, see, he has no shelter. His only shelter maybe previously used to be his family members or his extended family members. When you're confused, you have to take advice from somebody, right? When you're bewildered, you can take. Now you have to go and pay 5,000, 10,000 to a counselor to give you useless advice, right? So, and when we are not in Krishna consciousness, we are always bewildered. But when we're in Krishna consciousness, we have a shelter. We have a shelter. And the more we connect with Krishna, the more we will come across situations, people, who will help us in our Krishna consciousness. Right? Why is it that some people always need crooks and quacks? Because that's what they want. Right? if they will meet real people, they have to pay the price. Right? They have to pay the price to get Krishna, right? I'm yes. Why is it that some people they always meet crooks and crooks, right? Like they meet cheaters? Yes. Why? Because they want to be cheated. Right? If they will meet real people, they have to pay a very high price. Right? And tell them no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. Right? Isn't it? You see, you have to give up your self gratification. And the price you have to pay, you have to say no, 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 no to this. You know, like we just read in this part of the direction, Prabhupada's video of Brahmacharya, this principle of Brahmacharya. So he's saying that, Prabhupada explaining the value of this Brahmacharya. He says if we maintain Brahmacharya, we will become very determined and powerful. Right? So he says, this is the price you have to pay for progress in spiritual life. This is the price you have to pay. If I don't want, right? If I am not ready to pay the price, then what will I do? I will just enjoy self gratification. I accept cheap things. So here Prabhupada is saying, therefore the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, possesses his own bewilderment. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nescience. We can see how our youth, right, they are the most fragile in society, right? They're innocent, they are the target of everybody. They are the target of drug dealers, right? They are the target of companies. Unfortunately, they are also the target of parents and family members, right? But they're innocent, they want to dominate, right? And they forget Krishna. And so they're so delicate. So here Prabhupada is saying, consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence. So I gave the example of a child, right? Because this is visible to you. He's so small, right? So you can easily influence him or her, dominate him or her, right? So what happens? He forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nescience. And under the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. Why did one put me in this world? Why did you blame your parents? Why did you give birth to me? Right? So the Vedanta Sutra also confirmed the Lord neither hates nor likes anyone, though he appears to. Hiranyakashipu, he says, what did he say? This Vishnu is partial. Right? Hiranyakashipu said, this Vishnu is partial. He's partial to the devas. Right? He killed my brother. Right? So here, Vedanta Sutra says, Supreme Lord is partial to nobody. You get the result of your own work, which is based on your up. See how important it is. Very practical, right? Very Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So you are on the way. Yeah.